What's up, folks? Welcome to Math Walkthroughs with Mr. Weeb. Today we are multiplying and dividing with decimals in our Lesson 3 Your Turn questions. Let's see what those questions are. The first one is about estimation. We have to estimate each product, and a product is the answer to a multiplication question. So I'm going to change each of these a little bit to make them simpler for me so that I can do it in my head. 4.23 is very close to 4, and 15.61 close enough to 15. These are pretty friendly numbers to work with. 2 15s is 30. That means 4 15s is going to be twice as much as 30, which is 60. Next we've got 3.87, which is close to 4 as well. Multiplying that by 25.92, which is close to 26, but 25 is a friendlier number to work with. So this is going to be 100, and that's going to be close enough for our estimation. Next, we've got 0.45. I'm going to change that to 0.5 because that's a benchmark decimal. We can have, that's a half, right? Half of 132. And so let's make it a half of 130 instead. So we've got half of 130. Half of 120 is 60. And then we have half of 140 would be 70, so 130 would be 65. And there we go. Then we've got 1.45 times 85.6. Well, let's try making it 1.5 times 85. You know what? Let's not make it 85, let's make it 90. So 1.5 times 90. Well, one group of 90 is 90, and half of 90 is 45. So then 90 and 45 is going to be 135. And that is going to be our estimate for that. Your estimates might be slightly different, and that's okay, as long as it's in the right ballpark. Okay, now we're estimating the quotients, which are answers to division questions. So here we've got 13.5 divided by 0.2. I'm going to change this one to 13 divided by 2, which is 6.5. Now, this is way off. This is 10 times smaller. The answer here is 10 times smaller than what it should be, because what it should be is 13 divided by 0.2, which is going to fit in, because it's 10 times smaller, that 0.2 is 10 times smaller than the 2, it's going to fit in 10 times more into the 13. So we just need to multiply this 6.5 by 10, and we get 65, and that is going to be the estimate. Okay, next we've got 412.8 divided by 3.9. Let's go with 400. The bigger the number is, the more you can estimate, or the more you can round down. So we've got 400 divided by 4, and that's going to give us 100. Next we've got 65. Let's round it to 66, and we're going to divide by 3. 2.9 is very close to 3, and that's going to give us 22. Next, we've got 18 divided by 0.95. That's really close to 1, so we're just going to make that 18. 18 divided by 1 is 18. It's going to be approximately. Okay, calculate 4.5 times 3.2 without using a calculator and show our thinking. I'm going to use an area model for this. So all you do for an area model is you draw a box, a rectangle of some kind usually, and we're going to label this longer one the 4.5. So there's going to be 4 here, and it's going to be 0.5 over here. Okay, then along the side, this is going to be 3, and this part here is going to be 0.2. Then all you do is you multiply each area. 3 times 4 is going to be 12. That's the area of that box. The reason that works for the area is because you can imagine that we can see this is 4 long and this is 3 wide. So how many boxes are there within there? Well, you can see there are 3, 6, 9, 12 boxes within this one box here. And if we add up the area of this, and the area of this, and the area of this, and the area of this, then we'll have the whole thing. So let's just, I just went a little nuts here, so let's just erase a little bit of that. Let's figure out what 3 times 0.5 is and find the area of this section right here. Since 0.5 is actually a half, we can just find out what half of 3 is. And half of 3 is 1.5. Okay, so now we've got those two. Let's figure out 4 times 0.2. Well, 0.1 is 1/10, and finding a tenth of something is quite easy. A tenth of 4 is 0.4. Twice as much of that is, as that is 0.8. So this is 0.8. Another trick that you can do is you can just go 2 times 4 is 8, and then add the decimal. And there you go. Next we've got 0.2 times 0.5. Next we can go 2 times 5, which is 10, and then add 2 decimal points. So what I would do is I would go, here's 10, and that right there. The way that you can do it with long multiplication is you could go 4.5 times 3.2, and what you do is you just ignore all the decimals until the very end and you add them at the end. So 2 times 5 is 10, carry the 1 up here. 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. Next, we do 3 times, we have the 0 here, and then 3 times 5, which is 15. Carry the 1 up here. 3 times 4 is 12, plus 1 is 13. Next, we add them all. 9 plus 5 is 14. There's 4 here. And then what we do is we see how many decimals were there. There's 1 decimal place and 2 decimal places. So we add the decimal place in right there. The answer should be 14.4. Let's see if we add up all these parts of our area model and see if we get the same answer. Just remember that when you are adding, you need to line up, unlike when you're multiplying, you need to line up all the decimal places. So we start with 12, then we add 1.5, 0.8, and 0.1. And let's see if it all works out. So we've got 5 plus 8 is 13, and another one is 14. Carry the 1. We've got 1 plus 2 is 3, and another one is 4. Here's the decimal, and 1 right there. So 14.4 and 14.40 are actually the same thing. You can ignore this 0 because it doesn't mean anything. It means there's no value in the hundredths spot. So this is our answer. So we can put a little box around it. Either one of these would do. Okay, let's calculate 15.6 divided by 0.3 without using a calculator and show your thinking. Now, if you know how to do decimal division or long division with decimals, you go ahead and do that. I think I'm going to show you in a slightly more visual way by drawing a picture. So here I have 15 and 6/10, or 156 tenths, and now we can divide it into groups of 3/10. Another way of asking the question is, how many times does 3/10 fit into 15 and 6/10? So we can start doing this by just drawing it in. Well, here, it fits in at least 1 time, and here's 3/10 fitting in 2 times, and here's 3/10 fitting in 3 times. So that means for this one, it fits in 3 times. That means it would also fit in 3 times to the next one. So I'm just going to add another 3. And I can keep adding 3s. 12, 15. Well, for this 5, that means that the next one, I'm going to add another 15, right? I'm going to go to 30, and then I'm going to go 45, right? I could keep counting, right? 18, 21, 24, 27, etc. But each time I have another 5, I'm going to be able to fit that 3/10 in another 15 times. So what we're seeing here is we're missing this one for each of these. So now let's collect all of those together. In these three, it fits in another time, so that's 46. Okay, and then we have it again. These three bottom ones, that's going to be another time, so that's 47. And then we have another 3 missing from here, that's 48. We've got the last 10th missing from each of these, that's 49. And the last 10th missing of these, that's going to be 50. Okay, so 3/10 fits into 15 50 times, but we're not just going into 15, we're going into 0.6 as well. So how many times does 0.3 fit into 0.6? We can draw it out. It fits in once and twice. So that means altogether it fits in 52 times. So our final answer is 15.6 divided by 0.3 is going to be 52. And there is our final answer. Our last question says, which expression has an answer close to 30? Let's go through them one at a time. 6.2, I'm going to change this. That's close enough to 6 times 0.5. That's close enough to 0.54. That's half of 6. That's going to be 3, not close to 30. Here, this is 1.5 times 0.2. Well, that's going to be a very small number. It's going to be smaller than 1.5, so I can already just cross that off. It's going to be too small. Now this one, let's see. This says, it's like saying 60 divided by 0.25, okay? Because 25 is a benchmark one, that's a quarter. What's a quarter of 60? Well, that's going to be 15. So, not quite. So we know it can't be this, can't be this, can't be that. So it has to be this one. And let's see, just to make sure that we haven't made a mistake in the first three, let's just see what that is. We've got about 60 times 0.5. Half of 60 is going to be 30, and that is the right answer. That's it for today. Thanks for watching.